In 1996, Pokémon was daring. Since then, the core Pokémon games have mostly stuck to the pattern established by those first games, developing a sense of familiarity with steady, light iteration. Pokémon Legends Arceus breaks that iterative pattern, attempting to establish a new foundation, while borrowing bits and pieces from the main Pokémon games to create something new. The result is sometimes messy and doesn't always work, but its distinct qualities set it apart from the core series and ultimately elevate it. Though it's a spin-off, Pokémon Legends Arceus isn't lending the Pokémon trappings to an entirely different set of mechanics, like the Mystery Dungeon or Stadium series. Instead, this game reimagines Pokémon's core mechanics, finding and catching Pokémon and battling with them, within the new context of exploring vast open spaces. Legends Arceus takes place long before the modern games, at a time when Pokémon haven't become integrated into daily life as pets and pack animals. There's a sense that the wilderness here is dangerous, and the villagers treat Pokémon like fearsome wild beasts. The exception to this is the Survey Corps, a small band of burgeoning scientists working underneath the local security forces. An ever-present rift in the sky appears to be driving Pokémon berserk, including larger-than-life sacred Pokémon that are given special reverence and protection by the local Diamond and Pearl tribes. As a stranger in a strange land with no other options, you join up with the Survey Corps in hopes of solving the mystery of the rift. The Survey Corps' day-to-day work is building the first Pokédex, a paper-bound notebook that compiles all of the region's accumulated Pokémon knowledge. Completing your Pokédex is always the goal of Pokémon games, but it's usually an incidental secondary goal to collecting new Pokémon in order to train them for battles. In Arceus, completing the Pokédex is front and center, reintroducing it as a pivotal goal that connects everything you do, including how you progress through the game. Though the process of completing the Pokédex involves similar mechanics to what's found in the mainline Pokémon games, Legends Arceus makes it a bit more involved. You can see Pokémon wandering freely around the open environments, but you don't necessarily need to do battle to engage them. You can quietly sneak up on them and toss a Pokéball at them. That's often enough to catch them, so you go through Pokeballs quickly, dozens in a single trip, building out your collection. The controls behind this binary approach, stealth versus attack, capturing versus initiating a battle, can be disorienting. The trigger button is used to toss whatever you have at the ready, and you toggle between a menu of Pokeballs and caught Pokemon using the X button. It's fairly intuitive most of the time, cycling through your arsenal and then aiming a shot, but in the heat of the moment it's easy to waste a Pokeball when you meant to start a battle, or worse, to start a battle when you were trying to be sneaky. In a mainline Pokemon game, simply catching a Pokemon would fill out its Pokédex entry, but that's not the case here. Since you're building the first Pokédex, and since the stealth catch mechanic lends itself to quicker finds, completing a Pokédex entry involves completing a series of tasks. A Pokédex sheet will outline tasks, often with multiple tiers, like catching a certain number of Pokemon, defeating a certain number, and so on. Once you've completed a number of these tasks, you can turn in your findings and the Pokédex entry is considered complete. It's a remarkably flexible system that lets you play Pokemon your own way. If you love to do Pokemon battles, you can make almost all of your progress just fighting wild monsters. If you'd rather focus on stealth and barely engage with battles at all, that option's available too. At first, I found myself obsessively checking my Pokédex tasks and steering myself towards min-maxing completion. But after a while, I found it was much more enjoyable to just wander the world stealth catching and battling as I felt like it, and then letting the chips fall where they may for Pokédex completion. Unfortunately, campaign progress gating is also gated to completing Pokédex survey results. The Survey Corps gives star rankings that level up as you gain research points for completing tasks and filling out Pokédex entries. New environments open up as you progress through the story, but between each major story point, you need to rank up to the next star level. That meant for the first few star ranks, I was stuck needing to go over areas I had already explored extensively, grinding to progress enough to proceed. Later in the game, once I gained access to a larger selection of environments, and had access to mounts that made new areas reachable, it was much easier to progress without feeling like I had to go back over a previous area with a fine-tooth comb. The battle system is possibly the most recognizable aspect from previous Pokemon games, with each Pokemon in Legends Arceus only being able to equip a total of 4 moves at a time, and all the usual rock, paper, scissors elemental matchups intact. But needing to know the finer nuances of type matchups is de-emphasized in Arceus, to the point where moves are just listed as effective, super effective, not very effective, and no effect from the start. More recent Pokemon games have included this feature, and I appreciate the help as someone who does not have the brain space to keep track of every move matchup, but it has previously kept those hints gated behind having a completed Pokédex entry. In Pokemon Legends Arceus, that rough edge is sanded down to be even smoother, since you'll see them all listed right away, even the first time you ever encounter a new Pokemon. You can also get into an encounter against multiple Pokemon, sometimes just through sheer luck by starting a battle in the middle of a crowd of wild creatures. These moments can feel appropriately harrowing, since you can still only have one monster out at a time, and sometimes you'll simply run into a Pokemon far above your level, including red-eyed alpha Pokemon that are larger and more powerful than the average for their species. If you can catch them, they're essentially the apex predators of their type, with a requisite stat bump. Adding a small but sometimes vital wrinkle to the battle system is the option to make any of your attacks agile or strong. An agile attack sacrifices some strength for speed, which sometimes lets you attack twice before your opponent can respond. Conversely, a strong attack will pack some extra punch, but it might slow you down enough that your opponent can act twice. An optional battle timeline shows when the turns will occur, so you can see how swapping between agile and strong moves will affect the turn order. This adds an extra layer of creativity and strategy, especially once you start supplementing less effective attacks with strong style because you want to inflict a status effect, or using agile style on a super effective attack to finish off an opponent quickly. A series of boss battles called Frenzy Battles are also a significant change from the Pokemon norm. These large-scale conflicts tie into the story as you work with each Pokemon's caretaker warden to learn what kinds of foods they like, so you can make special balms. You then go into a distinct arena where you have to dodge the rampaging Pokemon's attacks and hit it with bombs, only occasionally sending out your own Pokemon to stun it long enough that you can rapid fire more bombs at it. Sating these beasts by juggling the priorities of active dodging, looking for open opportunities to throw, and then mixing in traditional Pokemon battles is the most exciting the series has been in years. The wardens and the leaders of their clans are standout personalities in Legends Arceus, introducing a totally new cast of characters, but keeping the focus relatively small. Pokemon games often have a fairly sprawling cast of friends, professors, gym leaders, Elite Four members, and the champion, and we rarely get to know any of them particularly well. In Legends Arceus, there are less than a dozen main characters, and we spend much more time with them, getting to know their personalities and how they clash with each other. There's not a massive amount of depth to the story and characters, but I still got attached to these cute anime kids. The world is presented similar to Breath of the Wild, but this game's distinctly separate zones don't quite match the sprawling openness of that Zelda game. They're still rather large, and it captures that same sense of wonder, but it's not the same level of impressive technical feat. Pokemon Legends Arceus also seems to be straining against the technical limitations of the Nintendo Switch at times, even among these smaller environments. Pieces of world geometry pop in and out somewhat regularly, and bodies of water in the sky show texture repetition that's hard not to notice. It's a testament to the quality of the game that those issues only slightly detracted from my enjoyment. Some of the new ideas in Arceus have rough edges, and it's a slow start before you get access to many environments and mounts. This is an awkward first step, and it was a big adjustment for me as a longtime fan. Once Pokemon Legends Arceus finds its stride though, it's the most daring and inventive the series has been in years, breaking apart the staid core and creating something new and exciting from its pieces.